Hi, everyone. This is Jean Carmela, and I'm a travel writer and contributor for World Travel Market. So for this month, we're going to be discussing adventure tourism and what adventure tourism holds for travel post-COVID. And today I've got a very special guest with me. He is the CEO and tour manager of Outdoor Activities in Romania, a company that offers epic, private, and customized tours around outdoors of Romania. I've also personally traveled with him when I went to Romania, and he's been doing this for 5 years. So I'm very pleased to welcome Dan Chitila.
Hello.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Nice to see you again after many years.
Oh yeah, 5. It's been a long time.
Yes, it's been a long time. But thank you for coming to this interview.
Thank you.
So, Dan, world travel, as you know, has been on hold for the past 5 months. And this has been very devastating to the travel and tourism industry, as you know. And while that's been sad for our industry, the good thing that happened is the world has seemingly gone from over tourism to no tourism overnight. And what that has done to the environment is that for the quality of air worldwide has improved. So because you are the go-to person for anything outdoors in Romania, I want to ask you if you were able to see this firsthand.
I will start by telling you a short, hopefully funny story. So when everything started, I think, so it started in Romania in February. That's when people heard about the COVID. I think in late February or March, when we already had a curfew in Bucharest, the lockdown.
Yeah.
I was riding my bike in Bucharest on a really busy boulevard. And I was biking, and all of a sudden I felt weird. And I asked myself, why do I feel weird? And I stopped and looked behind me. And on this long boulevard, I didn't see any cars. So
No
zero
cars
cars.
at all. Okay.
Yeah, zero buses. And I thought, wow, when was the last time I saw this? And the answer was never. Because
Never in your lifetime. Okay.
lifetime in Bucharest.
Yeah.
It was because people had stopped traveling by bus, stopped using local transport, stopped using cars. And of course, the immediate result was that the air was more fresh and cleaner. Another interesting thing is that you could see the mountains from Bucharest.
Wow. That never happened before. Okay.
Very, very, very rare. I mean, if the atmosphere is very clean, yes, then you can see the mountains. But that happens maybe 2 times a year, which is not. Now, because again, people stopped moving around, then of course they're not using cars. The pollution has been reduced.
Yes.
Then everything is more clean, more green.
Oh,
that
that's
was
good.
interesting to see. I heard this from many people. Many people told me the same thing. Yeah, you go to the mountains and you see everything so clear everywhere you look.
So at least there's something we can enjoy while we're all in relative lockdown.
Yeah, and you can see it when you do jogging in the park in the morning at 6. So I go jogging in the park at 6 a.m. Yeah, so it's really early, and you can feel the fresh air, which is something that I didn't feel 5 months ago. Even in the morning at 6.
Yeah.
And now you can feel it.
That must really be astounding, because when I went to Romania, I already thought that was the clearest air that I've ever been. When we went to, I think, Peștera, the rural side.
Yeah.
So I can imagine now that it's even clearer.
Everywhere you go in Romania now, there are less people than before. Than before this COVID thing started. So this is the obvious result. The air is cleaner, which is good.
And also ironic that when we cannot travel, it's when all these places are at its most beautiful.
Yeah, ironic. Yes.
Very ironic.
I guess sometimes we have to learn things the hard way.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, but that's the way it is. People starting to appreciate more what they have near their homes.
Yeah, that's true.
Unlike before the lockdown.
Yeah. So, which brings us to the next topic, because international travel obviously has been put on hold. I mean, some countries have different rules, but overall, I think international travel, it's safe to say that it's been on hold for the past 5 months and for the next seeable future. So, because of this, countries are focusing on local tourism. Is that what's happening in your company, or are you also seeing interest from different markets or specific markets?
So I can tell you what I predicted and what others predicted that was going to happen, and it happened. So I thought that people in Romania would start to travel more in their own country.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some data, some statistics recently, and this said that the people who did tourism in Romania in the last, I think, 3 months were 96 or 97% Romanians. Imagine, that's like, I couldn't believe it, but
Really?
it's normal. Yeah. People are starting to travel in their own country, and you can see it. If you go to the seaside, if you go to the mountains, everywhere you go, you see mostly Romanians using camper vans, sleeping in tents, whatever. But it's mostly Romanians. If you ask me about the requests from Romanians from the local market, we had maybe 2 or 3, not more, because Romanians usually do not choose to get a guide in their own country because they say, we can manage, we can find a map, and we can drive to different places on our own, and we can do our own tour, so we don't need a guide. So we did not get many requests from Romanians, and I expected that because I'm realistic and I know how the market in Romania functions.
Yeah.
Romanians will get a guide if they travel abroad, if they go to
but not in their own home. I mean, even the remote areas where I know you go to, the farther, mountains.
Sometimes maybe they would try, but they always want to go with a group because they want a very cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
And outdoor activities in Romania does not focus on cheap things. My main or our main purpose is quality, and as you know, small groups.
Yeah.
So we will not advocate for groups of 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, and that's what the locals would expect. And I'm not willing to change the direction of the company and do that. First of all, it's safety reasons. That's reason number one. Yeah. And then you get a better experience if you go with a group of 2, 3, 5, 6 people.
Absolutely, especially with the kinds of tours that you do. It's not for a big group, definitely. Yeah. But it's interesting you mentioned something about camper vans and going on camps, because that's, I think, a trend that's rising in UK and other parts of Europe, that because people can't travel, it's their quick fix. So even people who don't do camping before, now they're starting to do it. It's like literally camping in their own not backyard, but their own home.
So a month ago, I went with a friend in a remote part of Romania, and we were filming with a drone. And we got to this place where usually there was nothing. When I say nothing, I mean there was only forest and a river and nothing else. Now it was packed with camper vans.
Wow.
I was telling my friend, look at this. This is unusual. I've been coming here in 2006, and I never saw camper vans here.
Yeah.
Very unusual. But again, people are traveling in their own country, and they are rediscovering the country because there is no place to go. I mean, the only places where they can go, but it's not very safe, is Bulgaria, Greece, maybe.
Yes, I think everywhere people are just starting to explore their own backyard, and be it through camping. So I think we're going back to the basics.
Yeah. And I will tell you something else. I have a friend who has a small business, and he rents tents and mounting gear, basically. Yeah.
So
tents,
business is booming for him. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I was talking to him a couple of days ago and said, how is business for you lately? And he says, man, I had to hire 2 more people.
Wow.
Really? Yeah. He says, because I have all these requests for sleeping bags and tents. People want to go to the seaside, to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, in a way, I expected this.
Yeah.
So that's good for you.
That's good. It's interesting, right, to see which kinds of businesses are flourishing at this time because of the sudden change in people's interests and needs. Whereas we've never predicted this, even at the start. Who would have thought that camping would suddenly have a surge? Camping and outdoor gear.
For instance, the guest houses in Romania, like a 3-star guest house, a
Mm-hmm.
4-star guest house, yeah.
Yeah.
Some small local businesses, they're blooming. They are packed with tourists, with Romanians.
Romanians.
And they
Yeah.
told me, listen, for us, the fact that people don't travel is not a big deal because you always had local tourists.
Yes.
So the fact that foreigners don't come to Romania, well, it's not okay, but it's not a big deal for us because our business is okay. It's interesting how some segments of the tourism business are down and some segments are
Yes,
going up.
going up. And this is going to continue to change or remain, But also one of the main predictions for travel post-COVID is we're seeing the luxury market to be the first to come out of this, because as early as now and even a couple of months ago, there's been pent-up demand and interest from that market. Do you see this in your company? Like, of course they can't travel yet, but are you getting inquiries?
Like I told you before, from February until now, we got only two, three, four requests, maybe questions and requests.
Yeah.
So I can't say that there is a pattern, but from what I can see on Facebook and on other social media profiles, I can feel that people are interested in traveling, but they don't push that button.
Of
I
course,
don't know
not yet.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are thinking about it, and I know people who are part of this luxury market, as you say, are interested in traveling to Romania and other countries, but they are not willing to ask questions yet. They are
Okay.
thinking about maybe next year, maybe we will do it, but we don't know yet. Very interesting situation.
Yeah, I think this is the phase when people are starting to create their bucket list again. It's like places I want to see or go to when travel resumes.
Yes, but they don't ask. That's my point. That's what's a bit frustrating for me because I don't know what they are thinking. I can guess what they are thinking.
Yeah.
They want to travel, but they don't push that button and they don't ask, hey, what can you offer for next year?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I could pick up the phone and just call them and ask, hey, how are you? How would you like to travel to Romania?
I think most interactions now would happen on social media.
I think this is also a good time for businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses to try and do partnerships.
Yes.
Because, like I told you, we did not get requests for tours, but we got some requests for partnerships for next year.
So what kinds of companies?
Outdoor companies from the UK, from Netherlands, from Israel.
Oh, that's great.
Think about possible tours for next year.
Yeah.
And this is very important for me, for us as a company, because we are now building brick by brick something for next year. Okay, this year is optimized. I got that, but who knows? Maybe next year will be.
Yeah. And again, one of the things that travel industry is foreseeing is that the price of airfare and travel is not likely to go down, and in fact, it may even increase. And because of this, travelers are expected to want to travel longer or slower travel and then farther. So do you foresee this to happen as well, that people from far away will probably want to go to Romania, and then they will want to explore Romania longer than, say, last time they would just go for a week? So maybe now they'll stay for a month the most.
Yeah. I see this happening, and I was talking to some of my tourists a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the same thing. And they were saying, if we come to Romania next year, then we'll not come for 5 days or 6 days. We'll come for 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And I was talking to someone from Sydney, actually. And this saying to me, and it's very normal because now they will want to make the most of the holiday.
Yes.
You fly from there to here, and that takes you what, 2 days, and then another 2 days to go back. Then you will want to spend here at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, not to mention that I think now you still have to quarantine yourself, depending on the country, the quarantine, the medical tests, and you'll want to make it worth it.
Yeah, I agree. This is what I foresee. This is exactly how I see it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there will be people who will try to make plans, like they will think about it today and they will want to book tomorrow.
Yeah.
On a very short notice.
Uh-huh.
I saw this already. People are not willing to pay in advance. Like I told you.
Yeah, because it might be canceled. But going back to Australian travelers, I think you'll see that a lot, because even before this pandemic, that's how Australians would travel, because you're down under and you're so far away from Europe or anywhere else. You'll really want to make the most out of the trip. And
yes, we will enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly.
Yes.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. And before all this, before the pandemic hit, I'm pretty sure you've heard that isolation tourism was a big thing to happen in adventure travel, because people want to be disconnected from their pressures, their everyday pressures of work, life, and social media. And companies like Outdoor Activities in Romania seem to be the perfect company for this. You offer isolation and also going to remote or not so remote places in an extended period of time. Do you think that there's a difference to that kind of isolation to now? Because after that, people are now forced to go into isolation because of this quarantine. After this, do you think there will be a change in what people want? Do you think they'll still want to be in isolation after this, now that they've experienced this 5 months of quarantine?
You see, from this point of view, we don't have to change much in our offer, because this is what we have been offering from the very beginning, from 2015. Outdoor Activities in Romania was known as that company that offers tours off the beaten path in more remote places with no people or very few people.
Yeah.
So we don't have to change much in our offer, and I think that yes, next year people will want to travel even more in more remote places.
Yes.
Even if they had to deal with this isolation, with this lockdown for the past 6 months, 1 year, and whatever, but they will still want to go to remote places and enjoy the solitude. They will want to be in small groups. So we cater to individuals, couples, small groups of friends, 5, 6 people. So I think this situation really comes down on our alley, if I might say that.
Yeah, which is good for Outdoor Activities in Romania, because you're right. I think now there's more reason to travel in isolation, whereas previously people want to just get away from their daily life. Now there's 2 reasons. One is they still want to get away, and the other thing is it's for safety and for health.
And that's why
better.
And that's why over the past 6 months, I personally invested a lot in field trips, and I did a lot of tours in Romania in more remote places, because I wanted to see different things and I wanted to meet different people, and I took a lot of pictures everywhere I went and I made connections everywhere. So now our offer as a company is even better than what we had before.
Yeah, that's good.
I could see we are 1 step ahead. Or ahead.
Yeah, so it's good in that way. You didn't really have to pivot your as you said, you didn't have to change what you had to offer. You're already offering what people want.
Yeah, we just have to emphasize it more, maybe.
Yeah, and speaking of that, with this lockdown, as we were speaking earlier, this is the time to reflect. People have realized what's really important, what really matters. So another trend that we see in travel is that there will be a demand for travel with a purpose. So people don't just want to simply tick off their bucket list that, I want to climb this mountain. There has to be a reason why. There has to be a sense of giving back So in a way, the travelers are more altruistic now, that they want the local community to also benefit. So can you tell us how outdoor activities in Romania can offer this? Because I personally experienced that, but yeah, just can you tell us more about that?
It's funny you mentioned that because only a few days ago I thought about a different type of tour that I want to present to our guests for next year. And this is a tour that takes part in different areas of Romania, and we want to help the local communities with their daily chores. So, for instance, we take a group of 5 people. We go to this place where we stay for a week in a nice rural area like Peștera at Casa.
Yeah.
You know Casa very well now.
Yes.
They can help with the daily chores. They can milk the cows. They can help with the hay. They can, I don't know, fix the barn or whatever. And they can benefit from the products from the local community, and they can stay there and they can see what the rural life is like, and so on. And this is a way of helping the community.
Yeah.
And at the same time living, let's say, green.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I that was a very fulfilling experience, you know, personally, when I went to Peștera and Casa Folea. Yeah, so I did just that, right? I milked the cows, but I'm not sure if I was really of help, but it was a really good experience. And you know, I think, you know, going back to the travelers, they will leave the place feeling more enriched and more fulfilled. That, you know, it is when you're helping that you feel more, you know, that you went with a purpose, that you didn't just travel to see the locals, that you're just an observer and watching the locals from.
I think people will not want just to tick off a place off the list and say, I've been there.
Yep.
People want to enjoy an experience of the senses, go back home and say, man, I loved it. And that's my goal. That's the company's goal for next year. One of the goals, to do such tours.
Yeah, that's good news for you and good news for the local community too. And I think the travel, you know, the bucket lists in general have changed. Whereas previously it's just, okay, I want to climb Machu Picchu, I want to, you know, dive here. But now it's changed more to the local experience. Like, let's say I want to, as you said, get involved, you know, in a farm in rural Romania. So it's actually more experience based.
If you want something that you can remember in 10, 20, 50 years, then you should come with us.
You know, I think it's also inevitable that some companies have milked on this demand. So the experience doesn't, especially when it's a big group, it doesn't feel personal anymore. My next question is tour operators. You know, big groups, like groups of 20 or more, you know, those big tour buses. I think that will be a thing of the past, right? And I recall you mentioning to me, with outdoor activities in Romania, you offer, is it a maximum of 6? Yeah. Right? And those 6 people have to be in one party. They all have to know each other. Yeah. So
and that's a private tour.
Do you foresee this to happen, to continue? And do you think, in general, most adventure companies, do you think they have to rebrand themselves as offering private tours or small group tours, whether it's permanent or just for the meantime?
They will have to if they want to survive. I mean, I saw already some companies from Romania and some companies from abroad doing this already. So, you know, until a few months ago, they had on the website this advert that says we organize big groups with fixed departures and so on. And now it's small groups. Mm-hmm. And it's normal, and that's the way it should be. I'm not sure that everybody understands. For me and for outdoor activities, this is not an issue because that's how we always saw it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to change here, but from what I see and from what I can feel, yes, this will be the future. Small groups. Yeah. 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, maximum 10. But 4 or 5 people, 6 people, that's enough. Friends, and that's still called a private tour because it's a tour for you and your friends or for your family. Mm-hmm. And that's how I think people will want to travel. It's better, it's safer, it's fun, more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Than a huge group of 50 or even 100 people with big buses. Yeah.
So I think areas like Pelage Castle and Bran Castle,
Oh
which you saw,
yeah, yes,
so those will not be packed anymore.
yeah.
Luckily, you saw these areas when you came here, so
I know. Yeah, we were in a
I,
small car, and all those other people were in a big buses. But yeah, I was already wondering what will happen to those buses after this. You know, when we were talking about industries that will go down and up. So
I told you once you get to Pelage Castle
yeah,
and you look at the people, you have to remember that you will see the same people at the next castle, which is Bran,
yes, because
and then
it's
you
the
will
same pattern
yeah,
that they go to.
see the same people in Brasov.
So now you won't see that anymore, right? Because when it's customized tour, you don't really have to follow a certain pattern.
Adapt it however you want, and
Hmm.
people are usually very flexible, and everybody wants to see something else which is off the beaten path.
Yes.
So for when I go on tour, I usually tell them, listen, guys, we can do this two ways. We can stick to the schedule, which is
Yeah.
not my thing, or we can try something different.
Yeah.
Who's up for it? Me. Okay.
Yeah. So that's good. But you know, I'm just thinking, but this is way forward thinking now. If this is the way to go, then everybody will want to do what you're doing, and then competition will get tough. But you know, I'm just thinking 5 years down the line. That's still far ahead.
I thought about it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes, but see, the thing is that when you want to do something like this, you have to invest a lot, and I don't mean money necessarily. You have to invest a lot in the field trips because you have to travel to different places. Now, as you know, Romania is quite a big country. Okay, not
Hmm.
like Australia, but it's big. So if you want to travel from Bucharest to the north of Romania, then you have to travel for at least 10 hours by
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's a lot. So most companies and most people are not willing to do that and to drive a lot and to explore because that's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to put a lot of work into it. I'm not afraid of hard work.
Mhm.
And people that I work with are exactly the same. So for us, it doesn't matter if we drive 15 hours just to catch a super amazing sunrise in a
Yeah.
remote place. Work and you have to do a lot of research and sometimes you get there and there is a lot of rain and hail and or sun and whatever and
Yeah.
sometimes it's not fun. Believe me, it's
Yeah.
tiring.
But sometimes they say the harder it is to get to a place, the more worth it is.
What I think, but
Yeah, that's what I felt when I went to Romania after a 15-hour flight.
15 hours, wow.
Yes, 15 hours. Went from Sydney to London, London to Bucharest. Yeah. No, actually, Sydney to Singapore, Singapore to London, London to Bucharest. But it was worth it when I went there. Okay, Dan, finally, you're known as
Yeah.
Dan, the man with a plan. Do you have any personal insight or trend that you see that we haven't discussed yet? Something that we might not have thought of, trend that you see going in adventure travel in Romania, whether it's in Romania or globally?
A trend in tourism.
Yes, or adventure tours.
I think I would like to say that I have a vision. I don't actually, but I think that tourism will be much, if I can say that, cleaner in the next many years from now.
Yeah.
And I think people will have much more respect for nature. And
Yes.
I see it because I use Instagram a lot. So I follow a lot of people on Instagram and all kinds of companies.
Hmm.
And I always read what they post. And you can tell that their posts are different than what they used to post last year or 2 years ago. There's a lot of emphasis on, I think you said it in a post. How did you say it? Cleanliness is the new godliness.
Oh, yes.
And that's what I see. There's a lot of respect for nature. People go camp, for instance. People go camping, but they don't leave trash like they used to. They clean everything. They pay the fee for the national park for entering the national park and so
Yeah.
on. So there are a lot of good things happening.
Okay. So you foresee that responsible tourism is
Definitely.
is going to
Yeah.
increase, which is good for everyone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Dan, thanks so much for all those insights. But wait, we're not done.
Not done. Okay.
No. Just to end this with a bit of something fun, I have some few questions for you that You just think of the first thing, okay? You don't really have to think so much about it. Okay. Name a skill or a hobby that you picked up during quarantine.
I learned how to use Netflix more efficiently.
Any binge-worthy show on Netflix that you can recommend?
Yes, the series Batman, Christopher Nolan. I was surprised.
Oh, okay.
It was good with Christian Bale.
Yeah. Okay, Dan, name a fictional character that you'd want to be in quarantine with.
How did you come up with this question? So, a fictional character that I would like to be with, the Porky Pig.
Porky Pig. Okay.
Porky Pig.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I used to like Porky Pig when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I used to watch, what was it called? Looney Tunes?
Looney Tunes, yes.
Porky Pig was one of my favorites.
Okay, Dan, next question. Except for anywhere in Romania, where will you want to go after all this is over?
I'm going to say New Zealand.
Nice.
Ireland.
Good places.
Anywhere in Ireland, actually, I don't care.
Yeah.
And what else? I should think. Uzbekistan.
It's the mountains that are famous in Uzbekistan.
Yes, and the whole nature, everything looks just amazing.
Nice.
I
will look forward to seeing your posts when you get to Uzbekistan.
You'll be the first to know.
Yes. Okay, last. Promise, this is the last one.
No, you don't promise.
Okay, if you are not the CEO and tour manager of operations in Romania, what else would you be doing?
I would be a drummer.
Oh, a drummer, okay.
I always said if this thing doesn't work, if tourism doesn't work for me, then drumming would be my second choice.
Nice. That's another aspect of you that people get to know. CEO, tour manager / drummer. Hey.
Yeah, I still do air drumming at home.
Nice, great. Well, Dan, thank you. Thanks so much for all these insights in adventure tourism, and also we've got to know you more personally in a fun way. Thanks for taking this time.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me.
All right, and everyone, if you want to see a written transcript or the article version of this interview, I should have the link down below. And yeah, that's it for today. We'll see you again next month. Stay safe and behave. Bye.
Bye.